All right. Good morning. My name is Donnie Glover. We'd like to welcome you to BmoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. The show is brought to you by a news website established back in 2002, and we've been covering business, politics, community, a dash of entertainment. Today is an exciting day here in the city of Baltimore. We have the opportunity. Come on and unmute yourself there, Brandy and Sandy.
Hi.
You're not going to show your face, are you? There you go. There you go, Brandy and Sandy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is Dave around?
He better be. He better be at work giving you a call.
Okay. Well, we're waiting on him. But anyway, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't like the cold, though.
Please note that I am inside, and you see the hat, the scarf. There's like 3 layers here.
As soon as the show is over, I'll be putting my hat back on.
I'm telling you, it's cold. It's cold out there.
So you're Brandy or Sandy?
I'm Brandy.
Okay.
We laugh.
I'm Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
There's the mama.
I'm Mama.
It's we always get mixed up. It's entertaining because obviously you have a Brandy and a Sandy, and we're both nurses. So
You're both nurses?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you for all you do. That's my security guard, Pharaoh. Come on, Pharaoh. How is it dealing with COVID as a nurse?
Well, I'm retired, so it's fine for me. She, on the other hand, works in the ER at Hopkins.
So it's been a lot, you know what I mean? It's tough because it's been going on for so long, you know what I mean? And we hear so many different things of the community not believing things, or the community, just, natural kind of feelings of getting so overwhelmed and how long this has been going on, and just simple things of wanting to hug somebody, or like just to be able to go to the grocery store, do all these kinds of things. Like it's so limited. And, the natural human beings, they're tired. They're tired of this. The nurses, we're tired. We have to dress up in so much gear, and one of our gowns is made out of airbag material. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, it's so heavy. It's hot. It's tiresome. But, we signed up to do this, and, we just hang in there and keep trying to take care of each other, That's all we can do,
We thank you for all that you do. Every day you jeopardize your life to go out and save other people you don't even know. That's got to be monumental.
Yeah.
Well, it feels good to make a difference. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we signed up for. I love being a nurse. It means so much to me to be able to be a nurse. I became a nurse later in life. It's my second career, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to make a difference. So if I am making a difference, like, I sleep well at night, or in the day, actually, because I work night shift.
Okay. We have the man of the hour joining us. Dave, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for asking.
Good. And we've also been joined by a very dear friend of mine, a big supporter of BmoreNews over the years. SMonique, how are you, Mo?
Hello, young man. How are you today?
And how have you been?
Pretty awesome. Pretty blessed, and fortunate to stay on the front line and to support a couple of community outlets that's going on during this very trying time. But I'm grateful.
Okay, Dave, you went sideways on us, or did he freeze up on us? I think it may have froze. But Mo, while we have you, why don't you tell us what you've been up to lately? Now, you work with, among other people, you bring home the homelessness issue, particularly with young people. I know you do a lot of things, but one thing that's always captured my attention has been your work with homeless teens here in the city of Baltimore, something that's not talked about much.
Well, as they say, too much is given, much is required. And I feel that I've been in such a fortunate position for so many years. My heart has always led me to help the most vulnerable, which happens to be our young adults. And when you work with missing children, human trafficking, runaways, you find out in that population, there's an enormous amount of homeless people that, you know, contributes to that number. So you just have to always find ways to support them. So most of the initiatives that I do are called known as SMonique initiatives. And it's just either funding organizations who are supporting young adults or actually physically getting involved. It does my heart really good when I see the average citizen make sandwiches or keep blankets in their cars, you know, bottles of water, snack package, and then little cheat sheet cards of resources that you can actually hand out. And we see it all over Baltimore. You know, every red light in the inner city, there's a population, and then the healthcare for the homeless, like right outside the Viaducts across the street and there. So just doing what we can. Also, when the weather changes, like right now, we're about to start the alerts again about where are the safe havens, where people can go during the cold weather, just so we don't have any unfortunate loss this year. So I'm grateful for that. Being a member of the MMCA, we usually challenge some of the businesses to support some of those efforts as well. And it can happen all year round. We don't look for a particular time. We don't increase more because it's Thanksgiving or because it's Christmas or Kwanzaa. It's every single day type of concern that we address. I did see Christina Flowers like sitting right in front of City Hall a few years back with Kent City, you know, just taking that energy and that effort to show the need, the demand that is out there. But what did my heart good was organizations like yourself who made sure that the public was aware and it gave people an opportunity to do what they can. So it's hey, a sandwich here, a sandwich there goes a long way for someone who hasn't eaten in days.
So for those who may not know, MMCA is the Maryland Minority Contractors Association, an entity here in the city of Baltimore that advocates on behalf of minority businesses. Now, Dave, you know a little something about working with homeless people too, don't you?
I do. Most recently, there's a church in Ellicott City that supports us and gives us between like 500 and 1,000 lunches every Sunday morning. And my efforts alone is usually in the Southeast, and I have a little loop I do through the city. But I'm one of like many people that just from this one church go pick up. I'm out. I guess I'm just out there. I'm like you said, Miss Monique. I'm just an average guy doing what I do. God has placed a lot of average people like us who are doing things. He's kind of collected us, and our efforts are kind of exponentially grown. Where, you know, I might be out there and I might have a pack of smokes for somebody, or I might have a lighter or a blanket or some hand warmers or a sandwich. And over this season of COVID specifically, the need is great, and the people out here are few. But God has put us together where this one church on a Sunday morning and Saturdays is giving out like thousands of sandwiches,
right,
and meals and water. There's people I go to now, as I've just been out here in the street meeting more people where, I hit my spots, but then on the way I'll stop at, see Youssef and McCullough Homes and drop off a couple hundred lunches to him. I'll see Ms. D on the corner of Eastern Avenue and Dundalk Avenue at the bus stop, drop off a couple hundred lunches to her. So we're not the only ones out here, which is a really great feeling. And God has really positioned me to be able to see that as we mobilize around the city, seeing our people. And a lot of times some of the people we serve end up helping. So there's a guy, my man Brian down on Holabird and Dundalk. He's got a little camp over there, and I can give resources to him, and then he knows where they need to go from there. So it's really collaborative. One of us can't do it all, but we don't have to. It's a team sport,
Okay, now you got me, Dave. You got me calling you Dave, but it says Chap.
Yeah, so I'll explain real quick. I am a Baltimore City chaplain through the Baltimore City Police Department.
Okay.
But definitely I explain it like that because I'm a community chaplain that serves with the police. Pretty much everybody around the way knows me as Chap. You met me as David before I really jumped into that, Donnie. So, but a lot of people around the way, if you ask about Chap, they know who you're talking about. It's the white boy. And yeah,
I
so
love this white boy. So look here, Chap. I gotta tell you, we like to start off with prayer. Can we get a prayer in, because right now the city of Baltimore is about to bring in its newest leader, I believe the 52nd mayor. We have a pandemic. We have a crime wave where murder is just rampant in our streets. We have homeless people. We have hungry people. We have people who are just depressed. Would you bless us with prayer, Dave?
for you, I will. I usually decline, but for you, I will.
Bless your heart.
If we can bow our heads and as we come to the altar. Father, the group of people here listening and the group of people being speaking on the panel, we're all your children. We all recognize that, and for those who don't, you will, because you're in the sound of my voice. I just pray for the city, pray for the people of the city that we serve most humbly and relentlessly, and we're able to do that because you are the infinite source. We're able to deliver love and hope in different vehicles, whether it looks like food or blankets or a home. All these things essentially boil down to hope that you provide to us and love that you give to us that we pour out on others. We just pray for our new mayor, regardless of how some may feel about him or his politics or him personally. We need him to be a good mayor, and he's our mayor, like it or not. So it's our duty to serve him and help him be the best mayor he can be, because our city and our people need it. And I pray that everyone can be in tune with that spirit and understand that, like it or not, he is our leader, and we need him to be the best he can be, and we need to be the best version of ourselves so that we can serve our people and your people the way that you've intended us to do. Amen.
Amen. Amen. So Dave, Chap, who's the young lady you have with us?
Oh, my wife. We talking about Brandy?
Oh, my wife. Yeah, who's your wife?
Okay. Well, you said young, it threw me off. She looks young because she's beautiful. That's my roll dog, man. Let me tell you, I've known her longer than I haven't. I think we're going on 30. We've been married almost 8 years in January, but I've known her 30 years. We used to get in trouble together, and now we get in good trouble together. So I can't say enough about her. No one can replace her. Don't make me get emotional on the TV, man. But that's my partner for life.
It's good television. Brandy, why do you help, Brandy, with helping serve people? Why is that important to you?
I mean, I think some of us are just, it's in us, you know what I mean? Like, I think some of us just care more than others about certain things, like caring about people that's just in us. David cares, his father had a legacy where he opened the doors. I can remember being 15 and not having anywhere to go because my family, was doing something else. And, he opened the doors to any of us. He didn't care if you were, a man, woman, child, what your ethnicity was, if you're short, tall, fat, skinny. He opened the door and says, come on and have a meal with us. And, as a kid that didn't have a place to go, that was very, very crucial, and I know that he he like put that impression in David. And for me, I've always been a caretaker, like being a nurse, like I said, is a great honor for me because I get to do what I do best. Like my career is built around my character, so you have David, who is known how to have, what is it? I forget what was that one book you were reading, Dave, about hospitality?
Radical hospitality.
Radical hospitality.
Absurd generosity.
Right. So it's like,
We had that before.
like right before even that was a thing. Like that was a thing. So
let me if I can comment, Brandy. What she spoke about my father and what we learned was I know you mentioned that not everybody cares, but I think what she means is not everybody has the capacity to care, because we can only love and care to the capacity that we've been shown. So the people that came through my father's house, they were shown much love. And so they're able to provide much love.
Monique, you are out there working with some young people who would not get an opportunity to work otherwise. I understand that at your company, R.E. Harrington, you are helping to employ the least of us. Is that true?
That is our goal. We started back in 1998, and we actually are from the Park Heights community, 21215. And so the owner really, his heart is in the city of Baltimore. So him himself, being that young teenager, graduating from Westside Skills Center and going on to get his trade, his experience alone was part of what built the company, but poured so much more back into the community. So bringing in, the young adults every single summer, there are some wonderful initiatives, and we don't say that we're not into supporting other initiatives, but we do pride ourselves in having a model where we actually can employ individuals here every single summer. So originally the mayor's office was, there was always a program at City Hall that would have the youth empowerment, and they would access like Yo Baltimore, phenomenal group. Like the first year that they got started, we brought in 10 teens with Yo Baltimore, and it was a great thing. But I think their program shifted, but we continue because we had something before them afterwards. It does my heart so good to see the things that have come from those young adults that just needed that one chance. When they walk away, just to walk away with a resume, just something to item to be able to present to someone else to further their education, to further themselves in their career. And we always press. The armed forces may not be for everyone, nor will college, but entrepreneurship. You can, and the other two, you can do both. You can always have that extra, stream of income. And that was something that we practiced with bringing the mentees here. And they always come back. Like they'll come back and they'll be proud to come back saying, if it wasn't for this opportunity, if it wasn't for this chance, if you didn't invest in me, and that little nudge, that little teeny push is what catapults them into being that great character, having that great character as they move forward in life.
Okay, I think we have a guest joining us. Stacy, you got a comment for us? How you doing? Good morning.
Hey, Stacy.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Top of the Tuesday to you. No, I'm just jumping in. I'm late. I can't believe I'm late, but I'm loving what I'm hearing already. But no, I don't have anything to say just yet.
Do you know Dave?
I do know Dave. Yes, I do know Dave.
Well, tell us about him.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So Dave, I know him as Chap, right? But I have known Dave Chap for several years now. I initially became acquainted with him through the Baltimore City Recreations and Park and Recreation, where my children were a part of the program. He made such an awesome impact in their lives and in the community. But I too have an outreach and had linked arms with Chap and just have seen him doing amazing things through the community. I'm always getting little hits from him about where he is and what he's doing. It's hard to trace him. He's always on the move. I
wonder if the guy sleeps.
Yeah, you know what? I'm wondering that too. If he sleeps,
it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Not much.
Yeah,
I work night shift, and he's always trying to be like, "Hey, get up early with me," and I'm like, "So I've got like 2 hours of sleep, man. You better make some coffee."
Dave, do you sleep? That's the question we all want to know. Do you sleep?
I do. I get good rest. And small. I'll tell you what. It's a funny question, man. Because when we were grinding, there was a season, a couple months where I went a couple months with like 3 hours of sleep. But God really gave me strength, man. I'm telling you, God just gave me strength to keep going. And He's also put people around me to help me organize better and just make more time for rest and family. So.
Well, Dave, I want to share something with you. This young lady, Monique, unmute yourself. Stop playing. This lady, because of her tenacious attitude, because you're tenacious, Dave. When Dave puts his mind on something, you know, just stop what you're doing. I could be talking to Barack Obama, and here comes Dave, and it's like, Barack, seriously, I gotta take this call. This guy does not quit. But due to Monique's tenacity, she was recently filmed by HBO. Is that true, Monique?
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
Why did they come and film you?
They filmed me because there's a disparity across the country with missing individuals, missing of color, basically, and they were trying to create a documentary. And based on my documentary of being the longest living Jane Doe in the country, my insight was very important for them to present to the world, to let people know that all missing children aren't dead. They just assume that after 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that an unclaimed cold case or individual, unidentified individual. So I've walked this earth with no birth certificate, no passport, no identity for over 50 years. And it took a lot of work between the DNA, police department, the consent decree, everything, the National Center of Exploited Children. I'm actually missing child number 120-1298. And so right now my case is still pending for DNA through the University of North Texas with a family that we feel is my bloodline family that I was stolen as a baby. So I'm just grateful that it's opening the eyes to people for hope. And it's the same thing that you're doing on this call today, is we are the answers to someone else's, dream and prayer, that next sandwich, that next outreach, the hope for a detective to say, I gave up on that case. And hearing your story after 30 years of searching for a loved one, I'm going to go back now and utilize the current resources that were not out 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Like the National Center of Exploited Children came about in 1984 with John Walsh. So anything before that, and DNA, was only exclusive prior to it being on the ancestries.com and 23andMe. So I'm grateful for the documentary, that they saw the work that I had been doing, even locally, with the help of Jill Carter and the Barnes family. We have a law. Maryland has an actual law that it's not about the first 48. Stop watching TV when a child goes missing or an individual. It's immediate. You report them immediately. So yeah, just me pressing forward those issues, going to Annapolis and lobbying. We don't want those homeless children or the most vulnerable men and women, because young boys are now prime when it comes to human trafficking and missing children that are runaways. Right now, we don't want any time to be wasted. And thank you, Chap. I'm so glad that you do what you do with the police department, because a lot of calls do go out and people need to understand some of the processes. And when you're in that urgent state and you're discombobulated, at the time, prayer is everything. Prayer is everything. So I do commend you for just your 24-hour call action, call of duty.
So Monique, this is what I wanted to get to. Sorry, Chap. Monique, any advice to Dave as he goes out? I mean, he's regularly raising funds, providing resources. He's going to tell us about Baltimore Fest. Any advice to him? Because I remember when you were pushing this issue and people were looking at you like, what is she talking about? But you kept pushing. And I mean, Dave, she's been pushing this at least 10 years that I've known you.
Yeah.
I see. I'm taking notes.
And then all of a sudden, HBO, not just HBO, that's not Brandy, that's not the hit. The hit is you found your sister.
Yeah. And that's a key that I try to tell our young adults when they're so discouraged in time. They'll say, my dad is a deadbeat, my mother ain't no good. And I say, now that you know that, I had no mother, no father, no sister, no brother, no aunts, no uncle. Well, I'm a director of my own documentary that I created. I'm an author of a book. I'm the COO of a multi-million-dollar construction company. Those are the things I did with no identity.
Right.
No birth certificate. So, you have to push forward. That's the biggest key. When you fall down, your next goal is to figure out how to get up. You're not going to lay there for the rest of your life. So, you know, tap into those resources. As far as, you know, the chat, he's doing a phenomenal job. The last thing I want to do is put anything else on somebody else's caseload.
But he runs into homeless people, and
Yeah.
It's almost inevitable that he's going to run across someone who's been in the trafficking world, which is real.
Right.
According to the late Dr. Patricia Newton, the biggest trafficking event in the United States is the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And unfortunately, it still is, but right now, it's not a foreign thing anymore. Trafficking is an everyday conversation now. It's in our own backyard. If you have a zip code, someone's being trafficked. Like literally, if you have a zip code, so you can no longer say that something's going on in a sweatshop in a foreign country. You know, someone's going on in a brothel somewhere. No, it's right here in our own country. So when he comes across those individuals, you know, the best thing is to find some resources. And of course, we always have the hotline numbers. Baltimore has its own, but we have the national 1-888-3737-888 that you could always share that. Again, that's 1-888-3737-888. And when you call, you have two links. One link is going to be for you in support of someone and getting them resources. And the other one is for the individual who may in dire need of the police department. They may have identified where they're being trafficked or being helped, which is key. So just knowing that number. We used to make bracelets that we would hand out, and it was engraved. So the pimp and the John wouldn't actually see the numbers, but as we're handing out in our ministry, we call it condoms and candy. We don't advocate to have unprotected sex, but it's to minimize sexually transmitted diseases. And then of course the candy is to kind of like take care of the substance abuse, the addiction, but it's that moment that we can pray for them. And we also have a conversation. I don't know if you remember the Safe House of Hope, but that ended about 5 years ago. But the average citizen, this is the street outreach that we do. We don't have to have a nonprofit organization. I'm not looking for a tax write-off. I'm the everyday citizen, and we've been inundated with so much knowledge about the harms and ills against our human rights with missing children and human trafficking that we're beyond see something, say something. We're at the stage where we should be seeing something and saving someone.
Dave, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. When you said knowledge, it just sparked a thought. Is that two of the biggest problems out here is that in the world today is I don't know and I don't care, and we're out here teaching people how to care, and through technology and through conversations like this, we can share knowledge. Knowledge not shared is knowledge lost. So if we're sharing this knowledge, then people know, then you're accountable. So I appreciate your efforts, and I'm looking forward to connecting you and building a relationship, Monique. I know Donnie's got bigger picture things when he's putting this together, and no, it's a privilege to hear some of your testimony. We are out here. I do run into a lot of people, and like Donnie said, I'm on call 24/7. Everybody has my number. I'm telling you that I had a young lady, and I don't like to label people. Her name's Lori Rose, but our society would call her a hooker and an addict. She called me like 1 or 2 in the morning one night, and just to say that she was in recovery and had been 19 days clean. You know what I'm saying? And let me back that story up too. So we're doing a health clinic with Tori Rose. Had a health fair going on North Ave. Met this young lady. We're talking for about an hour, and then when they went to split, I just simply gave her and her girlfriend a hug. And we always say at our house, a smile can change someone's day, a hug can change someone's life. That hug, the young lady started crying. She got me, started crying, and then we talked for another hour, and the real conversation started happening because of that hug. We put her on with some people in our network, and she ended up 2 weeks later, a little more, calling and saying, thank you, that hug saved my life. So I think it's just important that we love people so their capacity can grow. We reach out to them like you do when you mentor those young people. Even if they get one thing from you, you've increased their capacity to care. And once they learn how to care, then they're like, okay, what do I need to know? And that's when we can pour into them the knowledge so that they can efficiently care for our people.
Hey, Monique, ask him how did we meet?
Okay, how did y'all meet?
I think it was the day of the parade, right? The historic Pensy Ave parade Ev and Chuck were putting on. I was running up and down the street just meeting my people, man, loving on my people, taking time to just talk to people and encourage people. It was a good parade, man. It was really great. You know, in a dark place, the light was shining that day, and I think he ran up on me. And can I put you out there? You're breaking up a little bit.
He was on Pennsylvania Avenue. Look, we met through Evan. Tell him about Evan, Dave. He's watching.
Okay, so hey, what's up, Ev?
He said your house was the hangout.
Yeah, Big Ev is my brother from another mother.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, Big Ev's my brother from another mother, man. He's like I was kind of mad at him when I came back to Baltimore, and he's wearing that blue. I was like, well, no, because I was like, man, why? Because we came from the after police generation, right? So now he's police, and he gave me some good advice and some good perspective. And you know, long story short, I'm a chaplain through the police now, and I see what he can do with his authority and his position. Man, he really loves in his community. I can't say enough about him, honestly. But we connected because he was throwing a parade. I was coming down to help out and just support and love on the community, man. And Donnie comes along and he's like, you know, he told me, he's like, who is this white boy just running up and down here like he belongs here, you know? And he's looking at me like, who are you? Where you come from? And I'm thinking to myself, well, who are you? Where you come from? This is my city, man. So, but yeah, man, look, we got good people here, man.
Dave, you do work in what neighborhoods?
You name it, bro. EA North, South, Cordelia, Reisterstown, Upton, Harlem Park, McCullough, Bayview, Greektown, Cherry Hill, anywhere our people are at, bro. Anywhere there's a need and it's communicated to me, I find a way there and I pour in what resources we have.
Now, Dave, I want you to spit it out. Why do you help people? Why?
I just love people, man. I'm a servant of God, and that's my calling, bro. I gotta love on his people because that's the gift he gave me.
Okay, tell us about Baltimore Fest. What is Baltimore Fest?
All right, so it's Powerfest Baltimore. Powerfest Baltimore is so here's a story, man, because here's how all this evolved, really. Our network of resources and community and everything. Originally, last September, we were supposed to have an inaugural annual festival for Baltimore, celebrating everything good in Baltimore, all the nonprofits doing work, all the resources available to people. What happens is when we have like a health fair, even on North Ave, we're having a health fair, giving away free testing, free condoms, things like this. The people who we actually need to reach don't show up. They're across the street getting high and doing their thing. So we really have to wrangle them over to get resources that are intended for them. You know, we'll meet and talk and we'll do some good networking, but the people aren't getting reached. That happens a lot through different stuff. So the vision for my partner Lewis Thomas is the president of Powerfest Baltimore. The vision was, let's bring people out, just entertainment, celebration, and while they're there, we'll expose them to all the good things going on in Baltimore, and their needs will be met. It's really simple. It's a little outside the box. You know, if you're a car guy, you'll come for the exotic car show. If you want to hear Shirley Caesar, come on out and see her on stage. If you want to, if you're a basketball guy, come do the shootout, the 3-point shootout we're doing. There's all kinds of different forms of entertainment for every culture we can think of in Baltimore. Once you get there, you've got to navigate through the resource village, and you're going to get plugged in with everything Baltimore has to offer that we could collect. And that's really, in a nutshell, that was the goal, is to get people out, through this festival, and then plug them in to resources they didn't know they had. Free attorney services for ex-offenders, jobs for ex-offenders, grants for closing on homes for not just a first time. I don't think it's just a first time homeowner thing. It's like if you're buying a Baltimore City home, there's a realty group that'll grant $20,000, not loan, but grant it, just help you pay for it. Those are bigger things. There's also this Organization of Hope was going to put up showers and laundry so that we could invite some of the mobile community early. Come get a shower for free. Come get your laundry done for free. Got a machine that debugs machines. And then our cousin Bernard and some other guys are going to come through and do haircuts and stuff. So, part of the plan was invite the mobile community a couple hours early, let it get cleaned up, put a little hope and dignity, breathe a little love into them. And that way they feel comfortable being in the same space as some other people, and not feeling like, I'm here, but I look like this, or I smell like this, or I'm going to sit at the door. They can participate equally on an even playing field. Just everything about the festival is trying to is about peace and love and unity. A lot of the unity has come through collaborating with other partnerships and other 501(c)s. And then when COVID happened, what was interesting was we had built up this network of really, really great people in Baltimore. So I say, like, people like Stacy, I could name hundreds of people. If Baltimore's a wheel, Powerfest became the hub, and all the people doing things in the city were like the spokes. And what happened was, when there was needs arising through COVID, we just started pouring our network of people for the festival, getting them plugged in where they were needed. And it's evolved, and it's been really great. So this year we're looking forward to 2021, September 25th. We're gonna, after the holidays, we're gonna get our grind back on and start focusing on the festival. But now that's married to a lot of community stuff that we're doing. So yeah, this next year in September, we're gonna be able, hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to showcase the festival. It's going to be even bigger and better than what it would have been last year, because of the depth of relationships that were made while we serve our community together. So it's not just like, hey, I know Acts for Youth, I know Growth for Youth, I know Creative Influence or Trauma Advocacy and all these different 501(c)s. It's not just I know them and I'm bringing them to the table. It's we've been working with them for over a year now. So the relationships and the value of the festival really have depth.
You bring home an excellent point, Dave. Don't wait until you need somebody to build a relationship with them. And I say that in particular as it relates to lawyers. A lot of us wait until we get into trouble. Don't wait. Build your relationships now. And on that note, we're about to build another relationship. We've just been joined by a young lady, China Terrell. And the first place that we rendezvoused, well, I'll let her tell it. Good morning, China. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Glover. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, we're here with Chaplain Dave and company, and Dave is talking about Powerfest Baltimore. He feeds the homeless. He helps people. His whole team is all about making Baltimore better. Tell us about your experience over at the B. Gaddy Center.
Absolutely. Hey. So, and Chaplain Dave, I have to tell you that it's been a true inspiration for me to listen.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she disappeared. Hold up.
Thank
She's
you
still talking.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you for sticking with it, and just for being in that space, because I know sometimes responding to a calling, there are weak moments in that when you feel like, it can be weary. So thank you so much. It's just an inspiration to hear you talk. So I had an opportunity to meet Mr. Glover at B. Gaddy's the few days leading up to Thanksgiving. I learned more about their work and the incredible outreach that they do across the entire city of Baltimore. And I went there and had an opportunity to meet Ms. Cynthia Brooks and the other amazing women that work with her in order to make sure that anyone hungry in Baltimore is fed. And it was just such a restorative experience, just being around those kind of beautiful women of wisdom and hearing them talk and say what the city needs and what they've seen. It was just a beautiful place to be. And so in my heart, I've committed to, of course, not only do that in the days leading up to Thanksgiving and to Christmas, but to go throughout the year so that I can learn and grow and get more from people who have been there to be able to give back to others.
Now, China, what's your background academically?
Sure. So my background academically is long because I found a lot of refuge in books growing up. But I am a corporate lawyer by experience and by training. And then I also have a master's degree in public administration. So I have, I guess, 3 degrees from 3 different universities. But the bottom line of it all is that
university? Stop, China. Don't do that. What universities? I'm trying to.
Sure. So I went to Johns Hopkins University for undergrad. I'm very proud of that. I moved to Baltimore right before I turned 17, and I was lucky enough to skip the 12th grade and come to Hopkins on a full scholarship. And then I went to the University of Minnesota out in the Midwest for law school. And I graduated magna cum laude there. And then I had open heart surgery, emergency open heart surgery. I did not know I was sick. I had an aneurysm on my heart, and my heart also had these huge blood clots that were the size of ping pong balls. And I was practicing corporate law at the time, and in-house counsel for the second largest privately held company in the world. And I just realized that if I lived through that moment, I did not want corporate law to be on my epitaph. I wanted people to come to my funeral and say who I had helped, what good I had done in the community, whose life was different as a result of the work that I had done. And at the time, I was a volunteer lawyer for the Children's Law Center of Minnesota, which serves foster kids. And I loved that work. And I just committed that the work that I was doing in my volunteer time was going to become my full time if I lived through. And I did. I was fortunate to live through. I'm here talking with you all now. And so eventually I went back to school a third time and got my master's in public administration from the Harvard University John F. Kennedy School of Government. And so that's my third degree. And it all comes from one, I just found refuge in books growing up. But then also I had this life.
Dave, get off the camera. Dave, let go of the camera, Dave. Stacy, you've been tuning in. I need you to unmute yourself and tell me what you've heard. We've had an ensemble of public servants on here giving of themselves selflessly. So you got to unmute yourself and participate.
Yeah, I am really just full right now. To just be sitting, I guess, in the same circle as people whose hearts, are really turned towards our city, is extremely encouraging. I did want to say to Monique, I recently had the opportunity, the Samaritan woman in Catonsville, Maryland, that helps out with trafficking and just kind of the education. That's important to talk about. And so it does my heart some good to be talking about those things that are there and that are present. And we need to be aware so that we can be change agents. Chap, I don't even have anything to say, as far as Chap is concerned. Again, just everything that he's doing in the community is making such a big footprint. And then to even, like I said, just hear China and her.
Okay, Dave, what do you hear? Oh, the dishes. Come on, Stacy. Were you finished, Stacy?
Yes, but I thought I was having a little trouble, so I hope you guys could hear me.
We didn't hear the last part.
Okay. Yeah, just in general, just really seeing what everyone is doing, and that we do have change agents among us. And so excited just to hear how those changes are taking place. Thank you.
Well, Stacy, let me pose one more question to you. Say that the new mayor is tuning into this show. What advice would you have for the new mayor of Baltimore?
Oh my goodness. That's a loaded question.
Okay, unload.
Oh, wow. Wow. If the mayor is listening, I'm hoping that the whole idea about healing our city is really in the forefront, and what steps need to be taken in order to start the healing. The problems that we have here in the city are systemic. They are long running. They're just kind of enthreaded. And so I think that if the mayor is listening, understand that each and every one of those issues needs to be addressed accordingly, and that healing needs to be in the forefront.
Okay. Monique, you want to take a stab at it?
Yes, dear Brandon Scott, congratulations. And I think from what I've seen, staying in tune and abreast of everything on the ground was very key. It was very instrumental to probably the win of the heart of the people. The inclusion is going to be a big part because I think a lot of things that could transpire without the involvement of the boots on the ground. I mean, we are tapping resources from an angle that many will never see firsthand. So I applaud him for his effort to be able to, bridge that gap for a better Baltimore, including our youth, keeping all of the programs going. I saw his video for a community service with Miss Stephanie Smith, and my heart was full. My heart was full with his deliverable because he talked about our young adults. He talked about the funding for education in Baltimore City. He brought up the fact of the current commissioner, the police commissioner. He really stuck to what he's trying to do to bring safety to Baltimore City. So to me, you can't just talk about those things without at least assessing it to build the deliverable that he was able to build. He did not fluff it by indicating that he had some type of miracle. He definitely indicated that do not assume that me walking in the door tomorrow that every homeless person will be housed, that every child will have an education, every individual will be fed. It is going to take a little bit of work, a lot of work, over a course of time. So just him knowing and being able to share where he is and telling the public, I think the public needs to also keep that in mind, that it's not a one person's issue. Collectively is what's going to change that. And he appears, based on what I've learned and seen of him, have that under control. And that is something that it did my heart good as an advocate. Like, I definitely am in the streets every day. I have a lot of connections, and for me to now be able to speak on his behalf, like, I am now his advocate because he gave me enough information, and then two, I can share that and we can help, not just hold them accountable, not about pointing the finger and and holding him accountable. It's like being able to work alongside him and his team to make those things so much better for Baltimore.
What is the first thing you would advise him to do? The first thing?
Build the relationships with those people right now. Without the relationships, and I think that's what a lot of people had feared when it came time during his campaign about his age and his what is his lifestyle like, who does he know, so you bring the people that that have proven themselves, not based on your friendship and you graduated school together. No, the people that that have produced some substantial things in Baltimore City, and then reach out to those individuals whom can help. They're either going to say yes or no. Everyone knows across the country, Baltimore is known beyond the wire. We're already known, but we're also known for the great things that can happen. And there's so many people that want to help us. Don't get it wrong. A lot of people look at it like, oh, you're from Baltimore, versus, yes, you're from Baltimore. And I wonder, did you guys consider this? Did you tap into this? Are you aware of this? That's what's going to be his biggest thing is to build those relationships in each one of those areas, be it as education, medical, the healthcare industry, mental health, homelessness, and find the key people that want to dive in it. I want to say something, I guess, and not ruffle no one's feathers. I often see when people say that they won't build a relationship because people have a hidden agenda. They have a hidden motive. I think if people understood, and I'll use me as an example, if I focus on missing children and human trafficking, and I'm an expert in my industry, and I'm an expert. So if I have resources and information and it has something to do with public safety, so I'm not going to bring gun control and moms against guns. I can't speak on that. But if you ask me for help and resources, I can share my insights about that. But at the end of the day, I'm there to give you what I can give you, and then say to you, let's not forget about this particular population is also affected potentially by the gun violence. So that, that's the I guess the compromise. But the compromise will build the relationships.
China, moving forward, your advice for this mayor?
Mayor Scott, congratulations. Just as Miss Monique said, my advice to you is please do not be afraid. In other words, have the courage to slash the property tax and slash it overnight. You will not have to cut services. You will instead unleash $1 billion or more of investment into this city. You can do it without cutting services. I encourage you to please have a great interest and curiosity about how markets work, because I know that Mayor Scott's platform is about very similar to what I believe in. Let's make everyone in Baltimore safer, healthier, and wealthier. Right now, the vacancies in Baltimore City come online at a rate that far exceeds whatever we could do to demo them or to rehab them. And it is making our families unsafe. And it is leading to people, our Black men, dying on the stoops of these vacant houses. But if we can make the opportunity for investment more valuable in the city, people will snap up those vacants and they will actually develop them. But with the property tax being so high, it is oxygen to slumlords. And the market is working when people are abandoning their homes because they're realizing that there is not enough value in their homes to make an estate plan, or to make sure that there's someone in their family who wants to take it over, or to invest in it, or to make a repair. They can't even get the money to make the repair because the homes effectively have negative value because of the cost of the property tax. So that is my number one advice to Brandon, is to please have the courage to dig into how the markets are working in Baltimore, and to understand that you absolutely can retain services and get all the programs done that you want to get done. And you can slash the property tax and unleash wealth across this city. And you can practical racism by slashing the property tax.
We only have a few minutes left, but I gotta ask you, China, he just hired the new city administrator who came to us from Austin, Texas, by way of Washington, D.C. Any thoughts on hiring a city administrator from out of town?
I used to work in DC. I used to be the number 2 person at the Office of the State Superintendent of Education in DC. After my time there, Chris Shorter came in, and he was the deputy to the transportation director there. At one point, he was the director of the Department of Public Works there. My friends in DC tell me that he's amazing. And so I believe that this inauguration day is a very hopeful one for the city. I hope that we can focus on the right policies. And I think that those policies really get to economic development, Black economic development, economic equality, and economic justice. So I hope we can really focus there. But I hear amazing things about Chris Shorter from my friends who are very dear friends with him. And so I'm very hopeful.
Good deal. Before we get to you, Dave, I just want to say special thank you to State Senator Corey McCray. Monique and other entrepreneurs will be joining us. You are all more than welcome this Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on this same channel on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We're having the Black Wall Street 2020 virtual ball, and we will be celebrating excellence in entrepreneurship. So, Chaplain Dave, if Mayor Scott were viewing this live broadcast, what would you advise him moving forward on this, the 2020 inauguration day for the new mayor of Baltimore?
I would share this. I would say that there's a lot of light and a lot of good people out here doing things. I would advise him to just, if they don't have the resources to help us, don't hinder us. Let us do what we do. And when you need something, instead of us reaching out to the mayor and the government all the time, he can reach out to us and we can help. We've got, Chief Russell put it to me like this one time. He said, darkness, there's phone died.
Oh no.
Some of the best things. Stacey, you want to finish it up for him?
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. I definitely am not at the same place that Chap is, but I you know, serving Baltimore City through outreach, and, you know, just connecting my heart with this city. And I 100% agree that if the mayor really could see the resources that are here, and that we are dedicated, and that we, you know, see the bigger picture, and we want to participate. We want to make a difference. We want Baltimore to be put on the map as a place where people feel safe, where they feel like they can raise their families, that the school systems are supportive of continued education and all of those things. Reach out to us, because it's the folks like us that are in the streets daily, you know, passing out those meals and things like that, that are really making the difference. And if we could all link arms, it just makes the link a lot stronger.
Good deal. Brandy, how can people get in touch with you and Dave and be a blessing to the city of Baltimore, Powerfest Baltimore, and all of the things that you do?
Well, Dave doesn't do social media, so all the social media is through me. But you can happily contact me. It's mibs1010 at gmail.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And our phone numbers are all out there. We are happy. You know, again, I work night shift, so I'm up as crazy hours as that man is. So we're happy to accommodate in any way.
One thing, Brandy, any advice to people out here? I got to tell you, Brandy, this past weekend, I saw people masked up. I saw it in the hood.
Great. I think that, you know, I get it. We're all tired of this. Nobody wants to be in the pandemic anymore. Life was tough enough before this hit, you know, and now people are scared and their basic needs are not being met. And it's a very, very difficult, challenging time. Now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to say, like, you know, I don't need help. Now is the time to admit it's okay that you need some help, or that you're having difficulties complying with wearing a mask, or that, you know, you miss your family and you need help to figure out Zoom. You know, like, now is the time to reach out and say, like, check on neighbor, you know, so and so, and really just be there for each other, because we're all going through it on some level, and no one's alone. And if we just, you know, band together, we can get through this. And I believe that's not just about the pandemic, but I believe that's about our city. You know, like, I am in awe of some of these amazing people that were just on this panel. Like, this is beautiful. Like, we have so much here. Baltimore is a tiny little city, but we are filled with so much amazing, you know, energy and talent and gifts. Like, don't discredit us and don't discount us just because some of these things on the news look scary. We aren't just The Wire. We're so much more than that.
And we're going to kick the Steelers' butts next time around.
I'm real cool with that. Cool with that.
Monique, how can people get in touch with you, support you, be a part of your movement?
So I'm glad you mentioned Mr. McCray, and congratulations to him as well. I'll be reaching out to him because it's nationally known about missing children, and we also know about it, you know, with the outline across the country. I had worked on several initiatives that I would like to acknowledge Missing Person Day on in May. So I'll definitely look for you guys' support to be able to just get a small bill to recognize. And what happens, it brings funds. Those funds goes to organizations like yourself. I am a business, so I write checks to the organization that need the money to make the sandwiches, they need the money to buy the coats, they need the money to take care of someone's housing. So I'm on all social media platforms known as Monique, and my email is the same, known as Monique @yahoo.com. So you could always reach out to me that way. But I'm definitely going to spearhead another bill that's going to piggyback on what's saving lives already, and that's educating the police department and working alongside them. Just that if a child goes missing, there should be no excuse that we not know who can quickly engage to help the federal government with a search. And that is instrumental right now when it comes to recovery. So thank you for asking, Doni. And I really, you know, I want to give Doni just a bravo and a salute for being the historian, the Baltimore historian here, because he can get people connected and he sees the synergy. Like, he strategically place people on this call, and it just feels like everyone serve, 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 serve. There was no one here talking about how to make money and make the money, you know. So I thank you, because this is what we need right now, right before this inaugural, before the mayor. So thank you for the questions that you posed, the panels that you actually selected. I'm walking away just more happier and full of more knowledge. You fed me well right before lunch.
Good deal. Brandy, Sandy, Stacy, China, Monique, Dave. Thank you everyone for joining us. Officer Evan Anderson, we love you, straight from Pennsylvania Avenue. Up to day, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, Baltimore.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Have a good day on purpose, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yep.